Hey guys, this time I'm doing a home workout. So as you can see, I've little to no equipment, not too much space, and I'm stuck for time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a good home workout that you could probably try at home. Take you about 20 minutes in total. I haven't really got a set number amount of reps or time here. I'm just going to chip through a number of exercises. Starting off with leg swings, I went 10 going forwards on the left leg, 10 going forwards on the right. Then I'm going lateral, 10 on the right side, and then 10 going into the left side. Good way of starting up your warm-up. Maybe even before that you can possibly go for a light run, maybe do a couple of jumping jacks, maybe jump on a skipping rope, foam roll for a number amount of minutes, or maybe even jumping a lacrosse ball. From there I'm going to go into a couple of crawl outs, so good for just basically movement preparation, into a low back stretch at the bottom, hold that for a couple of seconds and then crawl the hands back into the feet. Notice as I'm crawling in and out, I'm trying to keep my knees back. Then a couple of push-ups, whether that's on your knees or off your knees, doesn't really matter. Just make sure your hips are working together with your upper body, so your shoulders too. Into a hip stretch, I'm getting my hip lower than my knee and I'm opening out my arm and keeping an eye on where the arm and hand is going. Good for the hips. Then I'm going to fall through into a downward dog position. And then from there I'm going to go for a pigeon stretch. So excellent for the glutes, which normally most people are quite tight and inactive in. I'm going to pulse here because I'm quite tight in this position. And as I'm pulsing, I'm trying to maintain that 90 degrees so the ankle and knee is in line together. And I'm just basically riding through the movement up and down about 10 reps. From there back into downward dog. I'm going to hold a basic plank. I probably could get my hips a little bit lower here. Then to a high plank, staying tight on my toes, ankles pointing towards the sky. I'm just going to alternate between them two exercises. From there, I'm going to go into a side plank rotation on the elbow. Keep the hips as high as you can. Slow rotation. Try and get the hip as big twist as much as possible. Again, you don't have to hit a certain amount of reps. I'm just going for 5 or 6, just showing you the exercises, how well work together. Into a hollow rock here, point the toes. I could probably get my arms a little bit further than my ears, a little bit further back here and staying tight. Then I'm going to slow down the workout again, focusing on a little bit of hamstring work. So I'm going to stretch my hamstrings, try and reach as far as I can. Some people might not be able to reach their toes yet, but go as far as you can. Lie back, grab your knee, just breathe through it again and try and get that knee in as far as you can into your chest. Again, big reach again. Try and as you stretch a little more, try and cover a little bit more range as you go on. You can pulse through the movement, you can hold at the movement, just make sure you're breathing as well. And again, just changing the leg, bring the left knee into the chest, holding there for a couple of seconds as well. And then one more time in the hamstrings. I'm a big believer if you can stretch out your hamstrings and hips, that will really help you out in general movements. You might help out your back pain. Another great stretch that I do myself and most clients, and I bring it into workouts even though you're slowing down, is a couch stretch. So really good for your hip flexors, which generally most people are quite tight in from sitting down for too long periods in their day. Ideally I'd hold this for about 90 seconds, but today I'm just going to cover the movement and show you both legs. And don't worry if you haven't got a band, which I buy the bands in D8 Fitness in town. You can always do this without a band. Just basically I showed you in a previous video just using a chair. And it's the same thing, just the exact same movement. Great stretch. From there, I'm going to go and use the band again, and I'm going to go into a movement called XMan walks. So another good movement that is really good for the glutes and activating your glutes and core a little bit and posterior chain. So step into the band, middle part of the foot goes in the band, and both feet are staying consistently the same distance apart from each other. Again, number amount of reps, you can maybe do 6 to the left, 6 to the right, do that twice. Tough exercise, looks a lot easier than it actually is, but another one to bring into your warm-up / workout. Then from there, I'm going to use another set of bands. I'm just going to go basic band pulls. So slightly bend the knees, keep the arms nice and straight, pull back as far as you can, squeezing your shoulder blades together and keeping your elbows as tight as you can. Again, don't need the biggest or fanciest equipment. Bands are an excellent way to bring into your warm-up and your workouts. Then from there, I'm sort of done with all the sort of movement stuff and the little bit of drills like stretching. I'm going to go into a couple of exercises now. First one I'm going to go into will be, let's say, a wall squat hold. So I'm going to use my banisters here today. Gonna sit back into it, shoulders, belly button tucked in against the wall or the banisters. Try and get your hips in line with the knee or a little bit lower if you want. Hands off the knees and big reach out in front. Just breathing through, staying tight throughout the movement. Good exercise. Hold that for about 20, 40 seconds, whatever you can work up to. Then slowly come out of that movement then. And then we're going to work for basic air squats. So feet just outside the shoulders and hips. Toes at 11 and 1. Try and get your hip below your knee joint and keep your upper body and chest upright. Again, I'm going to go for about 10 to 15 reps here. Just go by feel. You don't necessarily have to go by a clock. Just get some movement in and just focus on your technique. From there, we'll go for a little bit of explosive power movements. So I decided I have no equipment. What am I going to do? Let's go for jump and split squats. Good basic exercise. They'll bring in a little bit of power. And I'm focusing on my technique as I go through it here. And again, amount of reps. Doesn't really matter. Maybe 7 each leg, so 14 in total. From there, we'll go into a pushing move. So you're on the knees or off the knees. Doesn't really matter. Into that push-up. Just make sure your whole body is working together. Hips and shoulders are together as a team. If you're finding that easy, come off the knees and just do the same thing. Push-ups off the knees and keep your whole body in alignment again. Again, I covered that technique in a previous video, so if you want to have a look at that, you can. So we've done our push move. Let's go for another pull. We did it in the warm-up already. Let's go for band pulls. Great exercise. As you can see, I haven't had no other piece of equipment. If I did, I'd probably do maybe dumbbell, single arm row, chest supported rows, maybe even a pull-up if I had a pull-up bar. But today I have no form of equipment, just a band. So that band is going to work perfectly for band pulls. Tough exercise. Let's go for about 15 reps. And then from there, we'll finish off with a little bit of core work. So into hollow rocks, squeeze the legs, toes pointed, slight rock of the whole body. If you're struggling with that, just hold, don't even rock, just hold there as much as you can for about 20-30 seconds. I'm going to go for about 15 hollow rocks in total here. Then to a couple of knee tucks, bringing my knees into my chest, keeping the toes pointed and lock out the legs as far as I can. About 10 reps here. I'm going to continue on working on my midline and core. So then from here, I'm going to go into a side plank rotation on the elbow. Nice, slow and controlled. Don't need to fly through these ones. Maybe go for 10 each side if you want. And once you've done that, onto a basic plank hold. Hold that for about 20-40 seconds, your call. Staying tight as much as you can on the toes, ankles pointing towards the sky. And then once you've done that, rotate onto the opposite side, onto the left elbow. Slow and controlled, big reach underneath, side plank rotation. Again, just hit the same amount of reps that you hit on the right elbow. Hope that workout's helped you out. Thanks a lot.